Hi, good morning all. This is Alinthia, your baker, otherwise known as Muffin. So I'm sorry I wasn't able to share me physically making a cake for you today, but what I will do is share with you one of my favorite recipes, and that's the carob cake. So I was a chocolate lover myself, so I enjoy carob cakes. So what I normally use for my 9-inch carob cake is 1 pound of unbleached flour, 3 ounces of carob powder, 2.5 tablespoonfuls of aluminum free baking powder, 3 tablespoons of flaxseed. So what I normally do for my flaxseed is to uh, in like half a cup of water, I normally boil it until it's jelly. Then when it begins to get jelly, I place it in the blender and grind it out completely along with the water. I use 1.5 teaspoonful of pink Himalayan sea salt, 1 sachet of coconut powder. So the coconut powder that I normally use is this one, because this one is casein free and it doesn't have any preservatives. So based on where you're located, whichever one you can find that does not contain any preservative or casein in it, then you can go ahead and use that. So this sachet says 50 grams. So I normally use 50 grams of baking coconut powder for that mixture. I also use 4 tablespoons of alcohol-free vanilla. So this is the one that I normally use. This is alcohol-free. So based on where you are again, you can definitely go ahead and try to get alcohol-free vanilla. I use 3 teaspoons of mixed spice. So my mixed spice is basically a mixture of cardamom, anise, and coriander. So I normally make my own mixed spice and then I use that for baking. So I combine all of those together. And then when I'm baking now, I just take out, like for this mixture, I take out like 3 teaspoonful. 2 teaspoons of lemon zest. So for the lemon zest, you can use citrus zest. Sorry, so you can use citrus zest. So it's any citrus that you have apart from grapefruit, that is. So you can choose to use your lime, you can choose to use your lemon, you can choose to use your orange. So you can use either of those, or if you have it at home, or if you want to get it at the store, then you can definitely go ahead and buy the lemon zest at the store. I use 1 cup of coconut oil for the mixture, and if I'm not going to be decorating my cake, then I would use 1.25 cup of wet sugar. Now the wet sugar is not processed, so that's what I normally use, but you can choose to use whatever sweetener you have, whatever natural sweetener you have at hand. So you can use your sucanut, you can use your agave nectar, you can use your honey, so you can choose to use whatever sweetener. But if you're going to be using a liquid sweetener instead of a dry sweetener, then you have to be careful with the amount of water you're going to be putting in the mixture itself, because you don't want your mixture to be too runny. So what you should have when you're finished mixing in all your ingredients, you should have a mixture that resembles soft serve ice cream. So it should not be too hard and it should not be too soft. So it should be in between, because there's no egg in this mixture. What will happen is that if you put too much liquid in it, the mixture will be gummy, so it would be more like a pudding texture than a cake texture. So you have to be careful with the amount of liquid that you add into it. And 1 cup of coconut oil and 3 cup of water. So if you're not going to be using any liquid sweeteners, then the 3 cup of water would be fine. But if you're going to be using a liquid sweetener, then you have to be careful, as I said, with the amount of water that you add into it. When you're mixing though, try not to mix it too vigorously like this, because then you destroy all the air bubbles and the cake will not have that nice cake texture that you would like. So you want to cut and fold your water, your liquids, into your dry ingredients. So you'd combine all your dry ingredients together and mix them up together, then you would also combine your wet ingredients and mix those together as well. So you pour it a little at a time into the wet into the dry, mixing a little at a time until you are finished mixing. When you're finished mixing your cake, then you'd ensure beforehand that your oven is heated and ready. So you would grease your pan and put a little flour in it so that it doesn't get stick to the bottom of the container. After you finish doing that, then you would put your cake into your oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and you'd bake that for 35 to 45 minutes. At 30 minutes, however, you can go ahead and stick your toothpick or your skewer in the top of the cake to see if it comes out clean. If it comes out clean, then it means that you can go ahead and remove it. But for me, most times, I go up to 40 minutes or 45 minutes with mine. So you can definitely go ahead and try that recipe.